show you how to get started learning and memorizing the second section of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, the first movement. And hopefully at this point you've already seen the video for the first section and learned it and memorized it. And I'm also assuming you already have the music from my website, truepianolessons.com, because that music, that specific version of the music, has it all divided up into phrases for you. I'm still going to show you how to visually divide up the music on this section so you can work with me on it. But just so you know, it's going to be much easier for you to work with a video if you have the same music that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll divide up the music for you, and then we'll get started learning it. Just the same way we did the first section. If you haven't learned that one yet, and you haven't seen that video, you might want to go back and do that first. And then we'll get started on this one, all right? All right, so the first section that we did went from the first page, the A, B, C, D, E phrases, and we finished with the first note of the F phrase. So what I've done is I marked a square bracket. I like to show the sections with a square bracket. You can do this on your music too. To start the next phrase, I'd show a square bracket for the end of the previous section. But I just want to show you this next section, the one we're going to work on today. I call it the second section. It starts with the F phrase and goes all the way through to the first note of the J phrase. So I'm going to put a big square bracket at the end of that. That marks the whole section. And then phrase by phrase, I like to mark with big parentheses. So here's the F phrase. It is 4 measures long, and I've already sort of marked it, and I chop it in half. And then the G phrase, it's also 4 measures long. I chop it in half, so 2 measures in 2. But the H phrase is 6 measures long, so it goes all the way from here to here. I kind of divide this into a 3 plus a 3, so I'm going to put the dividing line there, and we'll work on that, these 3 measures and these 3. And then the I phrase, we'll probably go ahead and do, I think the best way to go about it is to do a 3 plus a 2, because it's a 5 measure phrase. So anyway, this is the way we're going to work on it. And once you've divided up your music like this, you're ready to go with me. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and work on the F phrase. The right hand first, we'll do it blocking. I'm going to do the last chord of the previous phrase because it's the pickup. It's an F sharp minor chord, and you play the melody strong on top, and then you switch to a C sharp 7 chord. Back to the F sharp minor, and on this part you'll notice the 2 notes stay the same in the middle, but the outside notes move down half a step, and then back up. We'll change the pedal on both of those, and then change the pedal again when you get to the G sharp 7 chord. That's this chord right here. Okay, so here's a G sharp major with a 7th. Beethoven put the 7th down here and left out the B sharp, which is going to be in the left hand part. So anyway, that's a G sharp 7 chord. Okay, I'll do that one more time without talking so much. And I'm not always going to talk about the pedaling, but I'm hoping that I have the camera at an angle where you can see when I'm changing pedals. So you need to observe that very closely. The pedal changes are important in this piece. Now, the left hand, once you've got the right hand memorized and blocking, I've got all those chords learned, it's time to learn the left hand. Left hand's going to start in the previous measure with an F sharp power chord. You jump up to the C sharp major chord, and then you step up, and just walking down. Okay, so work on that left hand until you have it memorized. And then we're going to put them together blocking. The left hand's holding this chord for the pickup. And once you can do it like that, by memory, it's going to be easy to play by memory. Like this. So do that several times blocking, but now I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's going to sound, and you'll do this several times too, obviously, as written. freak out moment there. Just a second. Let me do that again. So. The first two measures of the F phrase. Now let's move on to the next two. We're going to assume on your own you're going to do those first two measures till you have a bunch of perfect ones, and then move on to this one. This was that G sharp 7 chord that we played to finish, and you have 3 of those in between before your melody comes in again. It goes to C sharp minor. And coming down, this is kind of a B7 chord right here, without a B in it. And then we go to a diminished 7 chord. And then we finish with G sharp 7, or just a G sharp chord. Let me do those again without talking so much. Okay, that's the right hand part. Learn it, memorize it. Then the left hand, got the G sharp chord, and then does it again and goes up to, again, what I call a power chord, C sharp power chord. Jump down to F sharp. This is written as F double sharp and G sharp. Once you have that left hand memorized, it's time to put them together. Hopefully you can get that memorized, and once you do, the blocking makes it easy to play it as written. So here goes, as written. Okay, so once you've got that, you're ready to put the whole phrase together. Now the first time I put the whole phrase together, I'm going to block it with the right hand, and I'm going to put a stop in there. The stop is always good just to mark it in your mind. It's like putting a trail marker in your mind so that when you have the whole piece memorized, you never get lost because you have all these little trail markers. So anyway, I'm going to play the left hand power chord, right hand pickup. You don't have to go this fast. I'm stopping and then restart. Once you can do it like that, you're ready to play it as written. I'm going to do it with a stop in there the first time, so there's the stop, and then I'm going to go from there. That was the whole F phrase with a stop in the middle. Now I'm going to play it through with no stop. And in previous video, I've been sort of trying to hit about 42 for the quarter note. That's really fast for somebody who's doing it brand new. So I just want to show you when you're working on it at first, you'll probably be going about this fast. And there is nothing wrong with practicing this slow. This will really help you get the details, like bringing out your melody. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead just to save time and play through the whole phrase. I lost my 42 here. Okay, so it's going to be like this. that was the F phrase. Once you're done with that, and you have it memorized, you've done several perfect ones, you're ready to move on to the G phrase. All right. So the G phrase starts with this G sharp major chord. I'm going to play the right hand first. Bring out the top note on every single one of these chords because there's a melody note written on almost all of them. So you start there, and then you bring out the top note here. I use my fourth finger on top there, going to 5 here, and then my fourth finger again here. Then I jump down. This is still a G sharp major chord, and Beethoven just put the melody down underneath this time. So now actually you need to bring out the bottom note. First there's this one by itself, just the 2 notes, and then the melody comes in here. And then on your music, I've written the thumb playing there and there. Now I like to play it like this, with my 2 in here. But the reason that I put a thumb in there is I thought that might be easier for some people and feels a little less awkward. So it's up to you. You can decide. You know, try to experiment. Do the thumb on this, right here on the A. And then try it also with the way I like it, which is thumb, second finger. The reason I like that is because then I can make these notes connect like this. I can hold the thumb down. I can hold the second finger down. So that's why I like my 1, 2, 1 fingering, but I understand it's a little awkward some people, so you can go ahead and use a thumb, thumb, thumb if you like that better. Okay? And then we're just going to finish with a single note, just an E at the end of that, and you'll see why when we do the second half of the G phrase. Let me go through that real quick, just blocking and not talking so much. Here we go. So that's the right hand part. The left hand is really hard here. You have to play a G sharp, then another G sharp, and then one more G sharp. Don't hurt yourself, but work hard on that left hand part until you get it. And then we'll put the hands together. So the right hand's memorized, the left hand's memorized. We'll put them together like this. Now, once you have that memorized, playing it as written goes like this. Now, I need to say something about the pedaling on this part because some people pedal straight through those, and I can see an argument for that. I kind of like that. Once in a while I do it like that. But I think I lean more towards changing the pedal on every single melody note like this. Change, 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 change. Okay, so we'll leave that up to you. But that's how you play the first 2 measures of the G phrase. Now, let's go to the second 2 measures. On this, I finish up with my thumb on the E. So that's the first note, and then when I resume my blocking, I'm going to jump up and finish that chord up here with these 2. So I've divided that chord into this note plus these 2, and then I'm blocking the next one, nice little C sharp minor chord, and then I jump down and do the same exact thing here. I played these 2 notes by themselves, and then this is just a repeat, an octave lower. I'm going to finish with the first chord of the next one. Then the H section starts with a 4-note chord. It's a diminished 7 chord. See that? So I'm going to go back now and do that again without talking so much. These are the second 2 measures of the G phrase. That is the right hand part. The left hand part, as usual in this section, is very difficult. You play a G sharp, then another G sharp, and one more G sharp. Once again, don't hurt hurt yourself, but try hard. You can get it. All right? Now we're going to do both hands. Once you have the right hand memorized and the left, let's put them together. So I'm dividing that first chord into this plus this, and then we have... and then together here, kind of. Once you have that memorized and you know those shapes and those moves, it's time to do it as written. So we're going to jump from here. Okay, and that is the first chord of the H section. So now, do that till you have it memorized. And then you're ready to try the whole G phrase together. I'll do it once, blocking first. Stop. I'm going to stop in the middle. And then... play the top. There we go. So that is the G phrase blocked and cut in half. Now I'm going to play it as written with a stop in the middle. Stop, and then go from there. Play through the whole phrase. Before I do, once again, I just remind you about going slow. The way I just played it and the way I'm gonna play it is way too fast for somebody brand new at it, but I'm just doing it so you can see everything. You'll be going about this fast if you're brand new at it. Okay, but I'm gonna go a little bit quicker here. I'll catch my little 42 here. I'm just aiming. 842 is not necessarily the performance tempo, but it's closer. So. Oh, bad fingering. Sorry about the commentary on the fingering. I was just pointing out I didn't use my usual. I used the thumb on that one accidentally, but you can use either one. So anyway, that was the G phrase, and hopefully once you get that learned and memorized, you can put the F and the G phrases together a few times. I'm not going to do that now to save time on the video. Instead, I'm going to move on to the H phrase. So the H phrase is where the fun really begins here. We're going to do a series of what I'm calling diminished 7 chords. Kind of not written that way. They're written as like a German augmented 6 or something like that. I can't remember from my college theory what that is called, but it really comes out sounding like just a diminished 7 chord. So anyway, what you're going to do on this is block the right hand 4 notes at a time, most of them. You'll see there's a couple exceptions, but we're going to go through these first 3 measures. And you'll realize it's just the same chord in each measure. Each measure has its own chord inverting. So we take this diminished 7 chord here, and we're going to invert it up. We're going to skip on this note and shift the whole hand position up to this. That's the next group of 4 notes. Okay, so I'm going 4 notes at a time. These 4, inverted up to these 4. Then the next 4, you skip this note, you put your thumb on here, and you've got this. This is the same one we started with, okay? Same inversion. So this fingering, to me, makes it easier. I've seen lots of editions that have completely different fingering than this, and I've settled on this fingering because I just think it's easier to learn. I've had all my students learn it this way, and it is much easier to memorize this fingering. So block it like this, invert it up with the thumb on the A, invert it up again with the thumb on the D sharp. Okay, that's the first measure. Now the next measure is just a C sharp minor chord, but I still do a 4-note voicing first, and then I'm going to move my thumb and skipping this note. I'm going to skip the G sharp and go up to the C sharp, and it's just a root position. Okay, and then the last chord is a 4-note chord on the music, but it's really just 3 notes because one of them repeats. So I'm going to use a 2, a 4, and a 5 on that. So let me show that one to you again. There's this, inverted up, C sharp minor, and then this. Okay, so let's go through the first 2. The first one is this, the D sharp's diminished 7 chord, inverted up again. And then, actually, I'm changing pedal, but I shouldn't be. You can hold the pedal through. And then C sharp minor, hold the pedal through. And just the 3 notes. Okay, now we're ready to learn the third measure, which is this diminished 7 chord, so C sharp diminished 7. Okay, and then I'm going to skip this note, move my thumb up here. And I don't need to change pedal. I don't know why I keep doing that. Thumb here, and then move your thumb up to this one, C sharp. This is the first one, so the first one and the last one are the same on that. I'll do that again. The first one, inverted up, and then the next measure also starts with a diminished 7 chord. This one. Okay, so we'll stop there for the moment. Now I'm going to go back and do all 3 of those without talking so much. So here we go. The first 3 measures of the H phrase. Next measure is a C sharp minor. I invert it up, and then just 3 notes. Third measure, and then we're going to stop right there. Okay? So now, you get that memorized, those 3 measures. Right hand just blocking up. Then we're going to, adding the left hand on this is easy, as usual. It's just the G sharp, G sharp, G sharp. So I'm going to go ahead and put them together as written. Okay, actually, I'm sorry. Let's do it blocked once. I'll block through them one more time with the left hand playing along. And then. Okay, now once you have that memorized, you'll have to kind of look at the music to see what the pattern is. But now that you have it blocked, memorized, it should be pretty easy to get it learned. I'm just going to go and play through it one time nice and slow so you can see it. That's a little bit hard once you've memorized it the way I showed you, is that the chords are written in, the blocking that I showed you is in groups of 4, but rhythmically it's in groups of 3. So you'll have to sort of make that transition. So I want to do it one more time, and I'm going to sort of emphasize the first note of each group of 3 so you can hear the rhythm a little better. I don't think you should play it like that, but you could practice it like that to get the groups of 3 and then play it as normal after that, all right? So that's how you play those 3 measures. Let's move on to the second half of the H phrase, which starts with the same type of idea. We're going to block the right hand, and the left hand's just holding this G sharp down here. You can hold it if you want. This is a little unusual part of the piece where you don't really need to do hand separate practice. But I'm just to give the left hand a break, I'm gonna play the right hand blocking. And again, you can skip a note and jump up to this inversion. Then the next 4 notes are the same ones you started with. So once again, you started here and you end up here, an octave higher. So this, and this. Now, the next measure, I play just a single I'm going to I'm going to put the first two notes together like this, these two. And then I'm going to jump down and do an inversion of that same chord. Then I'm going to jump down again and do that inversion here. And then probably just keep on going with the same inversions. It's the same chord. And invert it down again. And here's where things start to go a little goofy. This is right before the I phrase. I'm going to have you just do two note like this with a 5 and a 1. And then we're going to go with a 3 and 1. And then we'll finish with this. This is a really ugly chord if you put it all together, but like this, okay? So on that last part, let me show you what I did. Actually, I think, I gotta work out, I didn't work this out before the video. Let's see. So if I'm coming down here, I have this last inversion here. I think I'm gonna do these two. I showed you a wrong finger. I think I even have it written. I just can't read the numbers that far away. These two, and then the whole chord. All right? So let me go through that whole 3 measure stretch. The last 3 measures of the H phrase, like this. Is this. You invert it up again, and then just do 2 notes and start inverting down with your thumb on the, this is B sharp, and invert it down again, invert it down again, invert it down one more time, so we end up on the same chord we started with at the very beginning, and it's just an octave lower. And then I'm going to put a 2-5 on this, just a 2-note chord. Actually, I could do the whole 3-note chord there, like this, and then this. And that's the first chord of the I phrase. Okay? So now let's add the left hand and block it one more time. And then just 2 notes. And then these three, and this ugly chord. Okay? Now you notice on the last one, I want you, when you block them, try bringing out the bottom note. Okay, and that's the sort of the melody that comes in there. Now I'll go and show you what it sounds like as written. And I'm just going to go through it without accenting anything. You'll eventually hear the groups of 3. That was the last 3 measures of the H phrase. So hopefully you can get it from that. Now I'm going to back up and do the whole H phrase once blocked with a stop in the middle. So here we go. The first one. Next one, C sharp minor. And then diminished chord. Took us 3 measures with a stop here. Now I'm going to restart. And then just 2 notes. And then jump. And that was the blocking of the H phrase. Now I'll play it as written with a stop in the middle. And there's the middle, so we'll stop there and then go from there. realize that was awful fast for you. You should probably going, when you do that part, practicing it for the first few times, you'll be going about this fast. And there is nothing wrong with going that slow. In fact, you should do it for quite a while. Once again, I was just saving space on our video here so I don't go that slow on all of them. But definitely when you're first learning it, you should be going that slow. Now I'm going to go ahead and play it as written. I'll see if I'm pretty close to my 42 here. Yep, I was already pretty close. So I'll play through it without stopping this time so you can hear the whole H phrase. Bad fingering. Oh, I'm going to have to do that again. I screwed it up. Here we go. Ready? So I kind of made it through that time. It's kind of what the whole H phrase sounds like. You'll notice it's hard to keep track of those triplets if you're not accenting, but I don't think you should accent them. Just work on them until you can keep track of them in your own mind. But the H phrase is a lot of fun. And now, once you get that all learned, you can put it together with the F and the G phrase. But I'm not going to do that here. I'll wait till I have the whole section. Let's move on to the I phrase. All right, so now the I phrase starts with what sounds like a pretty ugly chord if you put it all together, okay? But I'm going to just play the right hand blocking, nice and ugly, and I'm going to put the thumb here and the thumb down again. You're trying to bring out the thumb on these chords. And then this time I'm going to do it with a D natural. Finish with a C sharp, E, and a C sharp. This is an A major chord. So you look A major, and you do it twice, and we'll finish with this. Okay, sort of a diminished 7 chord. Let me go back and do that one more time, blocking. And then with natural. A major chord twice, and another diminished 7. Now the left hand, right hand, work on that till you get it memorized. Then do the left hand, which is G sharp as usual, G sharp again, and then one more G sharp before finally we do something new. This A comes with the A chord, and this comes with that diminished 7 chord. So memorize the left and then put them together, blocking. And then the A major chord. Once you have that memorized, play it as written. That was the first half of the I phrase. Now I'm going to go ahead and let you work on that on your own, and then come on back after you're done with that and work on the second half of the I phrase, which starts with this chord in the right hand. You do it twice, and then you finish with C sharp. Oh, I put a bad fingering there. 1, 2, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 again. And our melody comes in just like the beginning of the piece. And that introduces us into the next section. So here we go again. I'll block through that without talking too much. once you have that memorized, left hand. Not too tough. And you finish with a C sharp power chord. And then it goes to the G sharp major for the first chord of the next section and of the J phrase. Now I'm going to put them together. Right hand, left hand. Once you can do that by memory several times, go ahead and play it as written. Okay, that's the last two measures of the I phrase. Now let's go back and put the whole I phrase together. We'll do it blocking once and with a stop. It goes like this. Stop there because that's the middle, and then we'll go from there. Once you've done that, you can do it as written. And now I'm going to still put a stop in the middle, once again, to put a little trail marker in your mind where that spot is. Oh, I almost forgot to stop. Stop. I was getting into the music. I couldn't stop. Anyway, we'll put a stop there and then go from there. Okay, now I'm going to play that whole I phrase without the stop. Hopefully I can stick with the fingering that I've given you. All right. Was the I phrase, as well as the end of the entire section that we just worked on, the F, G, H, and I. So what that means is the next thing is for us to play the whole section, which I am going to do. All right, so here it goes. I'm going to do the pickup from the previous phrase. is the entire second section, F, G, H, and I. So now, once you've gotten through that and you got to memorize, of course, put it together with the first section, the A through E phrases, and then go find the video for the next section. And good luck with that.